Good morning. I am on my way to my first interview, and it's with Corrina, and she's a really wonderful person. I've known her for several years now, and I'm really looking forward to making what I believe is going to be some pride cookies. So this is going to be a new experience for me, and I hope you guys enjoy the journey along the way. I'm on my way to her house, and that's part of the process that I was talking about earlier, which is going to meet everybody and going to meet the community. So she's my first one. So I'm pretty excited about this, and I can't wait to bring you guys along the way. Hey everybody, this is Corrina. I've known Corrina for many years, as I mentioned before. Love her, and then I've worked with her at other entities too, like Night Screams back in the day. But today we're going to be talking about LGBTQ two-spirit stuff, and also we're going to be making cookies. And what kind of cookies are we making today?
We're going to be making rainbow cookies. They're going to be kind of like the cutout ones that you'll buy in the store that have the trees on them or the reindeer, so they're going to be really good. I'm very excited.
Yes, I'm hoping they're going to be very good. We don't want any food poisoning or anything. So, and also too, this is one of the new things too. It's like, you know, I'm going to everybody's home because we're going to be keeping everything really organic, and then also just to visit the population because people want to know. It's like, well, who is the LGBTQ community? It's like, well, let's go meet them. And so Corrina, I'm so blessed, you know, that she said yeah. So Corrina's my first guest, and I really hope that you enjoy our Christmas cookies that we're going to learn how to make, and she's got a lot of things planned for us.
Okay, well, let's get started. So we're going to start off by just taking some softened butter. This is 1 cup of softened butter, which is 2 sticks, and we'll be adding that to our bowl. Arnold, would you add that to our bowl?
Absolutely. So she's got her house really decorated for Christmas, and her little girl, because you have a little girl, right?
Yes, I have a 2-year-old, and she has been making it quite a challenge to decorate the house this year because she's finally up and about and curious about things. So our tree, we started off with a full decorated tree, and now we only got the top half because she keeps tearing everything off of it. She tears off the lights and the ornaments. So we ended up just saying, you know what, we're just going to let it go. Have the bottom half bare and let her kind of do whatever she wants with it. So she's been having a lot of fun putting ornaments on there and taking lights off and just decorating it in her own way. So we really try to like encourage that creativity from her. So it's been actually a very good learning experience.
It's really cute because the tree is literally decorated halfway up, and the bottom part is nothing on there. It's just really cute. I'll probably show you a picture of it later.
Okay, now we're going to go in with 2.5 cups of powdered sugar to that softened butter.
Now, what made you think of these style of cookies for this?
I just thought I really like doing just the regular sugar cookies for Christmas. And so for this like special episode, I thought I would really like kind of focus around LGBTQ, the LGBTQ flag. So I just thought it would be really fun to try to do some pride flags because it's actually going to be a pretty intricate process here. We're going to be doing different colors and different shapes and stuff of like rolling it out. So
okay, I have butter on my fingers for the butter to stop it, but I can't open it.
I think I have scissors here.
Okay, awesome. My fingers are just slippery. Oh, we have a guest here that's walked
in. That's my brother.
I'll say, who is it? Like with many families, everybody's coming in and out. So
Yep, absolutely.
Part of the thing is that I really like doing this. It's like organic because this is like real life. You know, it's like I want to meet the community, and this is really cool.
We're doing I don't know if I already said 2.5 cups of powdered sugar. And so if you'll take that spatula and blend it up, I'll do a little bit extra because.
You know, it took me into the age of 20 years old to find out what a spatula was. This is what I learned, yeah. And I had no idea because people get the spatula, I'd hand them like a spoon or something because I didn't know. Honestly, I'm not the world's greatest cook. I am the youngest of 6, and so I never had to cook. And when I was on my own, it's like I didn't know how to cook. But the only thing I did know how to cook was like desserts. My mom had this old cookbook, and it was. You know, we were of meager means back in the day, and I'd make my own desserts. And so this is kind of cool. I like this stuff.
My family business has been always really like centered around food and cooking. They used to actually make their own cookbooks back in the day where we would all like get together and send in like little recipes. So I have some old cookbooks downstairs called the Huff Cookbook, and they would just like spiral bound their own cookbooks. And I think my little recipe in there was like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it literally told you step by step how to smear things onto like sandwich bread, or like how to make orange juice from concentrate. Just because I was really little, I was like 4 or 5. And
that is too cute.
So it was really cute. So
Corrina's got a little story, a little coming out story for herself that she wouldn't mind sharing if I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when I came out, it was actually, I think I first started coming out in middle school was where I didn't know. I just had no idea. And I had a small group of friends where I came out to them and I said,
how old were you at that time?
I
just
think
roughly.
I was 13 or 12 or 13, where I said, I don't think I'm straight. And it was met with a lot of like jokes, which made me feel really uncomfortable. So it made me like immediately step back and go back into my little closet and be like, oh. No, I was kidding. Haha, no, I'm kidding. And it wasn't until later, like high school, that I got my first girlfriend. And I was like, okay, well, I know I'm not straight now. It's for sure. And
did you just need to be with the girl just to have that validation that's like, okay, this is actually real?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was a lot of it. Is like, okay, well, I don't need to tell anyone because, you know, I felt like because I wasn't active like in the LGBT community, I wasn't like putting myself out there. I wasn't interacting. I wasn't like actually trying to push myself to figure out who I was. I didn't need to say anything. I was like, okay, well, I can hide this. I don't need to do anything further.
And you felt that you needed to hide this, though.
Yeah, I did.
Was it from like the school, the teachers, the family, society, or was it?
It was just my experience with coming out. You know, with the whole jokes made at me and the feeling of making myself just uncomfortable. It just, I don't know. It made me feel like I don't want to face that. I don't want to have to deal with that. I'm just gonna put it off until maybe forever. I thought in my head.
Did you have any like outreach resources that you knew were there any available?
None. I didn't even look for them, honestly. I don't think they were really available or that I knew of how to get to even. So it wasn't until that I met my girlfriend where I was like, okay, well, I need to tell someone. So I first told my family. I told my mom, and she's like, oh yeah, we know. She's like, yeah, it was obvious. She was very loving and very accepting.
That is amazing.
Which is amazing. Oops, sorry, I touched my microphone.
That's okay.
But yeah, so it was amazing, and my whole family was just really like comfortable with it. My grandparents didn't. I want to say they didn't know, but looking back on it, it was probably pretty obvious too. Because we were very like holdy handsy in front of my grandparents, so you know, I never had to come out to them. But yeah, so it was a really great experience, and after that, I started getting involved in the community. I joined the Gay Straight Alliance at Bemidji High School, and that was actually a really different experience too. We did a lot of positive things, but it faced a lot of like controversy at the high school. I remember one time we made posters and put them up about our meetings and about like all the things we were doing. And
nice. And why did you feel like you needed to do posters and put them out there?
Just for awareness.
Just for awareness.
Just to get people to know, hey,
that you're normal.
We're normal. We're here. Come check us out. Come talk to us. You know, we're out there. And the posters got ripped down by their students and vandalized, and but the school actually handled it very well. They like went back, found all the kids who did it, made them both write out and come and talk to us actually, and had us like sit down with them for like an hour.
Nice.
And they were so sorry, they said, and I felt like they were very sincere in that they were really doing it just as a joke with their friends. And it was like a split second of, okay, this is gonna make me look cool, and I don't, you know, so they did it, and they were genuinely very sorry.
Well, that's good.
So,
also, too, I like the experience that you had coming out to your family, because that was a positive. Because not everybody gets that positive experience.
It was very, very nice, and you know, it wasn't too in depth, but I didn't really need it to be. You know, it wasn't like they sat down and talked to me about what that means or what I can do. It was just like an acceptance. Okay, this is normal. This is something that's, you know, and I didn't think they would react like that. I was expecting kind of like my first time coming out to be like my second time. like the jokes, because my family really pokes fun at each other. They joke about everything that they could possibly find, but this was just normal.
Back to this cookie mix here too. I didn't think that powder was going to go into the butter because you see I've been stirring for a while, but it did actually.
It looks really nice.
Yeah, it's very creamy and it looks like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Now we're going to add 3 eggs to that mixture. Let's see.
Do I stir as we're going along, or
You
what?
don't have to.
I don't have to? Oh, okay.
It's a very forgiving batter.
I need a very forgiving batter.
I picked an easy one this time.
All right. Complicated ones in the future.
Yeah, we'll get the creme brulee going next episode. So
Ooh,
just kidding.
Do you know how to make creme brulee?
I do actually.
Oh, hey,
I've made
that
it
might be
several
kinda cool.
times. So if that's something everyone's interested in, let us know because we can make that happen.
I'm interested. I'd like to make that happen. It's like, that sounds good. Okay, this has just really got super sloppy all of a sudden. It's like,
Yeah, it does that. So we're gonna add a splash of vanilla. If you're a measurer, then about a teaspoon. Yeah.
yeah, that was a teaspoon.
Teaspoon.
It's gonna be really vanilla-y.
Yeah. You can really add anything you want to this though. Like if you want it to be more of a holiday one, you can add some peppermint. We do have peppermint here if you want orange or whatever
cute.
flavor you want, really you can add to this.
And our house is very lovely. It's very decorated for Christmas. It's wonderful. There's Christmas music playing softly in the background.
Ambiance.
Ambiance. It is the season, hence our little Santa hats. Isn't that cute? And so this is a good time of year, actually. We'd be like making cookies and everything. Make cookies and ornaments, and so this is cool.
And to this we're adding 2.5 to 3.5 cups of flour. We're just gonna kind of see how it comes together. And
That's a big gap.
it really depends on how soft your butter is, and
We're gonna add 6 to 8.
anywhere from 1 to 5. You know. Just yeah, it's actually one of my busiest seasons right now because of the holidays and finals for school and.
Yes, and what are you going to school for?
So right now I am going to Bemidji State University for, I think it's Indigenous Nation Building and Marketing is my official title. It's kind of like a fusion between like Ojibwe history and business, a business major.
Ooh.
And with that, I actually just took my LSAT and am going to law school in fall of 2022.
For those that don't know what LSAC is, people like me, could you explain that?
It's the law school admissions test.
There we
It's
go.
just like, I don't know what the GRE is, but it's more like a general. This one's specific for law schools.
That's fantastic. And your family's supportive as well on that, I'm
Yeah,
guessing?
they are. They're very excited for me to go. I've applied at 11 different universities around the United States. And I'm really specifically trying to get to a program that specializes in federal Indian law.
That is too cool. Talk
Yeah.
about a role model for other people.
Thank you.
Seriously. Thank you. And then also too, it's just like, so are you married?
I'm not. I do have a partner and he lives with me. And we share a daughter. And so, yeah, so that's our living situation. We have our house here on Leech Lake Reservation, and he's also going to school. He goes to the Leech Lake Tribal College. And I actually graduated from there, valedictorian of 2020. Thank you.
That's awesome.
And I think going to that school really, really helped me build both character and academic foundation. They're pretty awesome.
It is a wonderful resource for people to understand. It's like, this is something that you can go to, and it can change your life, seriously. And also too, it gives us like options on what we can do for our future, because sometimes we get stuck, and especially like coming out of LGBTQ when it's interesting because sometimes people have questions. Like some of the questions would be, so since we had a girlfriend before, but now you're with a man, so people go, it's like, well, what does that mean? So tell us, Corrina, what does that mean?
So for me, it was very confusing for me to try to figure it out, especially at the beginning where I came from having, I've had a few girlfriends now in the past. Is it like equal
attraction with you, or is it one more than the other, or is it more emotional? Because sometimes people always like when they talk about, I'm guessing bisexual or pansexual. Pansexual. Let's explain what pan is, because sometimes people don't know what it is.
So for me, what pansexual is that no matter how you identify, like for gender roles, as far as you know, where you are on the spectrum, it won't matter for me. And I really focus on who a person is more than, you know, okay, well, I'm attracted to boys and girls, which is kind of how I see more like bisexual is the kind of binary too.
It is. It's the male or the female.
Yeah. And for me, it's just wherever you land on the spectrum, it's for romantically interests for me, it's not going to really matter.
Because what attracts you is the person.
Yes.
And that's what's because sometimes people got upset. It's like, well, how could it be the person? It's like, well, it's the person because you know when you're attracted to somebody, it's you know there's a mental and emotional aspect that goes along with that too, and that's a powerful sense. And so I think that's wonderful. You know, because sometimes people really get confused with the pansexual.
Yeah. And I think for like preference, I don't specifically have a preference. My dating history is primarily like masculine presenting people, specifically just because in the beginning when I first started dating, I wasn't comfortable, and then after I started dating a few guys, I got a little bit insecure in my identity because I'm like, okay, well, I've dated some guys, but I know for a fact inside me I am more pansexual, but I don't know how other people will see that, especially dating females or female presenting people. It was hard for me to kind of put myself out there.
Oh yeah.
So those were my struggles kind of early adulthood, but it has been a time to try to figure out where I fit in now that I've kind of solidified with a masculine presenting person in the LGBTQ community. So yeah,
obviously he's been very supportive too.
Yes, absolutely. He is great with. I'm involved in a lot of like different resources. I am the treasurer of the Phoenix at Bemidji State University, and that takes up a lot of my time actually, and kind of planning events for that. And that's the LGBTQI2S plus resource on Bemidji State University campus. And so, yeah, he is just all for all my involvement. He's like, you go and be who you need to be, and I'll be behind you or wherever. So
that's beautiful. It's very, very, very supportive.
Yeah.
And I like that. And it's like, because why do you get involved with these extracurricular activities on going to the community to discuss LGBTQ two-spirit stuff?
Why do I do it? Mm-hmm. Just because I think that it's a great opportunity for me to be around the community and be involved in planning the kind of stuff that gets awareness out there. I think it's wonderful that, you know, all the events that they host, and I saw it first, like online was the first event as they were going to Pride, and I was like, I want to be a part of that. I want to figure out what they're about, and this is what I was looking for. And you know, just help out in any way I could.
That's good, because I like to talk about because awareness is really important. That's part of like what we're doing right now. It's like awareness, but also making cookies. And the batter's looking pretty good. This is what the consistency looks like right now. I don't know if you can see that, but it's starting to look pretty good, I gotta say.
And we can plop that right in this plastic wrap now.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
Okay, I'm gonna plop the whole thing in there. Like geocentral, or what is that? What's that term?
That's also like another reason why I got involved in the LGBTQI activities at camp, is because I wanted to know more. There is so many people out there who identify in different ways and who have different experiences, and it was wonderful to come to a place where they were all just, you know, different and diverse, and I have been able to learn so much from it and tell my own story, and it's wonderful to get involved in community like that. Because there's so many people there, like out there, like in my exact situation or similar to my situation, and it's great to know that I'm not alone like that.
Absolutely, and I love that. It's great to know that we're not alone.
Okay, so this is gonna go pop in the fridge for usually about 30 minutes. I have one already done here.
So 30 minutes has transpired right now.
Ooh, magic. Okay.
There's actually a little app that I can make little sparkles go around if I want
to. And so with this one, we are going to be coloring it now.
Ooh.
Into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colors.
Yeah, I have to do that too, because I'm guessing we're referring to the pride flag, and there's all those different colors. There's actually more historically, but the ones that are utilized is, well, actually, there's more pride flags coming out. I mean, there's like I'm actually getting confused because sometimes people go, "What does this flag mean?" I'm like, I don't know.
That's new to me.
It's a new one to me, and all of them I think are great because it is talking about like awareness. Yeah, I want awareness. I want just people to feel included. It's important to feel included and that you're not alone, like you mentioned earlier.
And I've heard that a lot actually of like, okay, well, why is there so many? Why it's getting confusing? It's too much. Well, not really. Some people do like labels and some people don't. It's just your personal preference, and if it makes somebody feel better, like, let them be.
Let them be. And it's just like, because we don't all fit in that little box of like what we're, we were told we were supposed to be growing up. Things have changed. I don't. The time has changed, but I don't think that I think people are finally becoming more open with who they are.
Yeah.
Instead of it's not like people just showed up all of a sudden. It's like we've always been here, and historically we've always been here. And but now it's like it's just nice to have these avenues to quit the suicide and quit the abuse and all of that, because it must have been when you were in school to see that your posters were taken down. That must have been heartbreaking.
It was
and scary
because we worked people put a lot of effort into the things that they do, and to have that feel kind of like either violated or threatened in any way, it doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't.
So what we did with this is we cut them up into we cut it in half and then cut it up into 6 different sections for all of our colors. So whatever color you want to start with.
All right. All right, so now this is all cut up like you said. What did you do to this here again? Yep,
you just take a chunk, you take half of it, half of your dough that's already been chilled, and you cut the other half up into 6 sections.
Ooh, 6 sections, okay.
6 sections, and then we're gonna be making, what is it? Purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, red?
Yes.
Okay.
I do the colors backwards the other way. I go the red and red.
So we have our 4 primaries, and hopefully we can make it out of that. So whatever color you want to start with there, Arnold.
I like the yellow because it's happy. The yellow. I'll be like those people that do like the makeup.
Or if you prefer a gel, you got.
I'm old school. I'm going to use this one here. Wait, this looks gel-like too, though. It's not runny.
Maybe it is.
I don't know. All right.
It says assorted. I don't think that's what that means.
How much?
I don't know. However much you want. However vibrant you want it.
It's going to be super vibrant.
And you can use your hands or you can use a spoon if you don't want to.
My hands are washed.
Yellow.
I'm glad she handed me the spoon because my hands would have been really yellow.
It would have been very yellow.
Well, this is fun, and I love like the vibrant little colors that we're doing here too. It's a little symbolic thing. I think all like Christmas cookies are symbolic of something, of like family recipes, or even because they have like the different nationalities out there. So they make certain breads or certain cookies and certain flavors that all represent something. Kind of like we should have like our own fry bread cookie or something.
Ooh,
I think that would be kind of cool.
I attempted to make fry bread one time, and it didn't come out quite as I liked, but I made them into very little itty bitty bite-sized pizzas.
Yeah.
And made fry bread bites out of them.
Oh,
they were very good.
You can dip them in like sugar and cinnamon and stuff. And
make like a mini donut kind of situation. It'd be awesome. I'm happy with my red, so I'm gonna
cute.
Wrap it in plastic and put it back in the fridge with
looks like a
these
meatball.
It does look like a meatball. With these kind of cookies, you want to just kind of keep them cold as you're going through the whole process. Just
it's
to make
because
sure
of the butter.
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, I did know something.
Exactly.
And so for like the rest of the school years, then when you came out to the school and they were supportive, did they offer any outreach at that point, or?
Nope, not really. They just kind of then let us be our own. They didn't really do a follow-up. They were really good in kind of making something happen about it, but there was nothing afterwards, really.
Oh.
I think since it has changed there a little bit, where they are more involved, because once again, I went to school back in the day. I don't even know when I graduated.
It's closer back in the day than my back in the day.
2014, 2015, I think I graduated. 2015.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely changed since then. So.
And I am a Reds kid from back in the day because I learned from my mom, like, don't let anything go to waste. You know, get every little piece off of the plate. And you can see there's like nothing on there. And so did you have like in your school now, did you have any like a public speaker come in at one point in time say, hey, let's talk about the LGBTQ community?
In high school or college?
High school.
In high school, I don't think so.
Would
Not that I can remember.
Would that have helped if you did?
Oh yeah, I think it would have helped a lot, especially with like other kids, because we were not getting very much traction and involvement in the GSA other than like the 2 or 3 other people who were, you know, already out in the school. So involvement from people who either didn't identify or weren't out was very slim. And I feel like that would have helped kind of create more dialogue between, you know, all the people who should be involved.
Yeah.
Which is everybody, honestly.
I agree, because it's not really that different from like when I went to school. And as I mentioned before, there's a gap in between the times that we graduated. And at my time, there was no outreach program. And that's why I was just like, well, there should be something, I would think, you know. So I'm sure it's a little bit better today, which is wonderful, just because like with media for one, and then just having those there's more readily available resources, but sometimes they're a little difficult to find, especially coming from like rural areas. If you're in a metro area, so since we're in a rural area, it's like, well, where do we go? You know, did you ever have a trouble finding like where do we go?
I don't think I ever knew where to go, and that was scary. So
Scary because it's like, why?
Yeah, I didn't really understand a whole lot, and I just kind of accepted it, whereas I feel like I could have put more of an effort on my end to try to figure it out. But also, I don't know that there were a whole lot of resources out there for me at that point in time, where now I feel like there are a lot more resources available, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, it's kind of interesting that you take the blame that you should have been more aggressive on searching for resources for yourself.
I mean, it definitely, somebody could have presented them to me, because I was, you know, I was littler. I was still a minor, but it wasn't all on them, you know. It was, I could have taken my part in it to try to look, and I feel like I would have found something if I looked, but but everything ended up well and fine anyways, so.
Well, that's good.
So
obviously you have a wonderful goals and wonderful movements to the future. Beautiful family.
You know what was interesting though is that I attended college before Leech Lake Tribal College in the cities, where I feel like there should have been more involvement on resources, and there was even less. My school that I went to didn't even have a LGBTQ club or anything.
Oh wow!
And it was a pretty big community college. I went for culinary arts, and they didn't have. And I looked. That's the point where I was like, you know.
Did you feel like free? I can totally come out.
Exactly. I'm ready to get involved, and there's nothing here. And I feel like if I would have been where I am at today, I would have been like, all right, let's start something. Let me start something. Let me start this. But again, I wasn't as confident in who I am as today. I was just ready to kind of peek my head in the door at that point. Saw there was nothing really in there, and then went back out. So
it's kind of interesting too. It's like you strike me as like a person that's always had confidence.
Oh no, not at all.
Did coming out help with that?
Yes, absolutely. Coming out and finding my community has helped.
Nice.
In that. Having, you know, some victories behind me in every aspect of my life, whether that be academically or just in life of, you know, my very first car I got. That even like boosted me up a little bit. I was like, I'm mobile, I can do what I want, go where I want. Like even the small victories just kind of built my confidence higher and higher and higher. And here I am today.
Nice.
Going to law school.
Going to law school, and I think that's fantastic. And talk about like I seriously a role model for people, because we need to see that, you know, she has a beautiful family, beautiful home, and we're making Christmas cookies, they're pride cookies, and that we have this normal lives. Did you ever think that you're just not going to be normal because society would never see you as normal, or whatever normal would be considered?
I thought that if I came out, I would never be normal. I thought the only way that I could ever fit into the life that I have right now was if I just hide. If I hide that part of who I am and just kind of, try to blend in and hide my true self. And that was the farthest from the truth. It was a very vital part of me being who I am today, is not only just coming out, but me accepting it. Me being like, you know what, I'm gonna, take this part of my community and like be who I am, even though sometimes, even still, I still feel insecure about it. Like, no matter what, I don't let it hinder who I am. And I always try to like, just take some steps to validate my own self. To be like, no, you know what, I'm being silly. I have people who love me. I have a community who's amazing. And I can be who I am and still find success in my life. So,
do you feel insecure because there's those moments to where, when somebody doesn't know that you're from the LGBTQ or Two-Spirit area or the arena of it, and then you're like talking to somebody you just met, and I was like, well, do I let them know? Because that's where I get uncomfortable. It's like, I'm gonna, because for me, I'm like, I have a husband, and sometimes the dynamic completely changes. Ooh. And it's like, okay, I've just made them uncomfortable, visibly uncomfortable. And so then you're like, okay, do we continue this conversation? Do we move forward? Or do I try to see, hey, I'm a normal person too. I'm a nice person. Or what do you do? Is that part of the uncomfortableness that you're talking about?
I have faced that once, to the point where they're like, I was like, oh yeah, so I'm in this club. And they're like, oh, it's so great that allies get involved too. And I'm like, oh no, I'm a part of the community. And they said, oh, I thought that you have a kid. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I do, but I'm also a part of the community. And that's kind of the first time that made me stop and be like, oh, there's people out there who aren't gonna immediately kind of know. And now what do? Do I tell them my identity? Do I have to validate myself to this person? I chose not to. I just chose to kind of end the conversation there. And if they were to ask a question, I probably would have answered it just to kind of educate them a little bit. But they didn't really seem too interested in, it didn't really change the dynamic of the conversation. But I guess it did on my part, because it made me, like, once again kind of crawl back into my own personal insecurities to be like, oh, there's times when I don't feel like I should be a part of the community.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm in a relationship that I'm in the place that I'm in, I think, like, okay, well, do I really belong here? Is this place for me? Is just because I don't struggle as hard as others, or because I don't have the same, like, stories as the others? Like, is this fair? And once again, the only thing that has helped me is just to look around and see people who love me in the community, see people who value my story and value me in the community. It's a wonderful community.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It is.
It's interesting too. It's just like, okay, this is one of those little things. This is really cute, actually. And I got this as blue as I could because I seen how much dye I was putting in that I watched over at hers, and it was basically just spilling over. So I was like, okay, I need to add a little bit more into mine. This is as blue as I could get it. And then, this is really cool. But it's interesting though that you feel like you're not even like you shouldn't even be a part of the LGBTQ community anymore, because you've met somebody where you can pass for straight, basically. And then people's like, well, aren't you straight? It's like, well, no, I'm not. I just happen to fall in love with a person, and it fits that little format. It just by chance happened to be that, because it very well could have been a woman, or somebody. So it's. I'm going to create. Show them how to make orange. Okay, this is going to be my chemistry skills from a billion years ago. Red. I'm doing it a lot, and this is very red. So. I know I put yellow in here. I believe I put yellow in here.
Did you?
I did.
I don't think you did.
I think I did. I'm going to do the Corrina measurement.
There you go.
There we go.
Boop.
Ooh, I got to use the gel one too. Oh, okay, we're getting orange. All
there
right,
we go.
That's happening. And it's still pretty red.
Okay.
but
try more of this guy.
There we go.
That's looking better.
It is looking better.
It's still really red.
That's my fault then. I got really excited. I was like, okay, we're gonna. Oh, it's getting a little. It's like a burnt orange.
It's pretty.
Oh, it's getting. Yeah, it's getting. There we go. Okay, it's starting to happen. See, we're starting to get orange. It's really. It looks like baby carrots.
It does.
Yeah.
Try to lighten it up more. Okay. Doing a big squeeze here. Okay. There. Oh.
Oh, it's.
That's.
Orangish.
Orangish. Orange enough.
It's orangish.
We used half of a bottle for that one.
Yes. The other one I was able to just pick it right off the plate. It's a different story.
To drip it off.
Kind of scraping it down. It's very sexy. Yes, it's good. It's gonna be delicious. And so now, the person you're with right now, how was he when you had to come out to him? Was he?
I think it was kind of just a part of our first conversation. Honestly, it was just like, hey, I'm Corrina. I'm pansexual. It's good to meet you. And actually, we had already. Oh, actually, no, we met when I was in high school. Still, the first time. And
I didn't know this.
Yeah, no, we were 16 when we first started dating the first time. He was in Minneapolis, and so it was a long distance relationship. It was a high school long distance relationship, so it lasted like a week and a half.
Yeah, which seemed like forever in high school. I was like, we're forever.
Yeah,
we're
we
in
were
love.
madly in love.
You don't understand.
Yeah, so I think maybe I came out to him then. I don't quite remember. But he was probably there for when I first started coming out in high school. But this time around, I kind of let him know again, just like, hey, I'm pansexual, because it might have just been a part of when we asked, and it was like nothing to him, really. It was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
You know, I'm really grateful to have the majority of the people who I've come up to just treat it as a normal thing. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is very awesome.
So what we're going to do now is we are going to take what's our first color? Purple. We're going to take our purple out. Actually, let's take all of our colors out.
We're taking all of our colors in that salad mix.
And the salad mix, salad dressings. I'm going to leave the orange in there just to see if it'll harden up a bit. Okay. And you're going to take out the purple and roll it into like a log.
Okay, you're wrapping it around it now. Does it go all the way around?
Yep.
Okay. Cookies can be tricky.
Okay, this looks better when I turn it over like
this. That looks professional now.
Yeah. I gotta ruin it. There we go.
See, this is starting to look pretty cool.
It's getting there. I'm just gonna chop the ends off. Make it a little easier to work with. There.
When my mom would do stuff like that, I always couldn't wait for the ends because she'd cook the ends too. It was all these little misshapen things, but they were just, but those were our snacks because she'd have our pretty ones out for like Christmas, and then all these little bits and pieces and stuff. She put them on a separate plate.
We've got to do the orange now.
We've got to do the orange, and the orange is going to be amazing because I made it.
It's going to be wonderful.
It's going to be. It's wonderful. Just gonna give you a little preamp of what our cookie dough is gonna be. It is gonna be amazing. It's got a orange texture to it.
It's orangish.
It's orangish. If you splat it down, it looks like the sun. Look at that.
It does.
It looks like a sun. You gotta see.
Let's try to get it off of there. Maybe the flour will lighten it up.
The flour will lighten it up. Yeah. It's like what they call. I'm not an artist major or anything like that, but it's like one of them. I forget what you call it.
Oh wow! It is running.
It is amazing.
It is amazing.
It is amazing.
Amazing. That's the. All of them should have been like that. Actually.
They should have. You see, I knew what I was doing.
Yes.
Okay, now what are we doing with this?
Now this, we are going to put the big log inside of it, wrap it up, just so you got some like outside layer border of it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we cut it in half.
Ooh.
So that way you get the rainbow instead of like, you know, just like a circle of rainbow.
That's going to be really cool. I can't wait.
Actual arch instead of just a circle.
Okay. All right, now we got our rainbowy log ready to go. Yes. And there's a big knife.
A big knife.
A big knife. Ooh, look at that. So it's going to look cool.
The colors inside.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're going to chop off the ends of them. You just want to take it and you want to chop it in half.
Chopping it in half.
Chopping it in half.
It's very colorful.
And then with one of your rolls, you're going to roll it back up just so you get that nice tight shape and it stays together. And then you take it and you put it in here.
Oh, wow.
And then you're just going to wrap that. You can cut off any excess you want, just if you don't want a cookie that's too thick. If you like thick cookies, that's...
I love thick cookies. Now, I got a question for you too. It's like when Maya gets older, what are you going to explain to her about like sexuality? Because sometimes people say, well, do you tell your children? Do you say anything to the kids, you know? I mean, should you know? Should the kids know? Or what is your personal opinion on that?
Well, you know, I have had a little experience with this with my niece just because she is around the age of 8 and she's very involved in my life. And so when, I think I was still with her when I had my first girlfriend. And so there were like, you know, there weren't a lot of questions like when I changed from having a girlfriend to a boyfriend. And we always would make jokes with each other. I was like, I'm going to marry, you know, my girlfriend. And she's like, no, I'm going to marry your girlfriend. And so, like, just the whole kind of aspect of girl marriage versus boy marriage is very natural. Mm-hmm. As long as I, you know, be very transparent about kind of everything. You know, when questions of, like, oh, well, is she marrying, like in general? You know, she's like, oh, well, my doll is going to marry this boy. And I was like, oh, she doesn't want to marry a girl? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh, she doesn't want to marry this person? And she's like, no. And so I think I'm going to do the same thing with my daughter, of just being very transparent with, like, there are options. You know, you don't have to have this girl Barbie marry the boy Barbie. You know, they don't have to marry anyone. Or, you know, just I think very transparent, like, asking questions and creating that dialogue when they're young of, like, heterosexual marriage isn't the norm. It isn't, you know, doesn't have to be the norm. And so just kind of getting that instilled with her when she's young, I think, is very important to us.
I love that. Because it was, because sometimes people, this is my own experience growing up, and that's not to distract from yours, but it was, because sometimes people's like, well, we can't tell the children yet because we don't want to startle them, we don't want to confuse them. And honestly, it was always the opposite effect, because when you have to come out when they were older, they were already figuring it out. It's like, why didn't you just tell me when I was younger? Because the ones that were younger that just knew the whole time, it was fine. There was like no transitional period of anything, because you always think it's like it's supposed to be like, well, we don't want to shock you, but this is who your uncle is. You know, it's like, well, I shouldn't be a shock. I'm just uncle. You know, it's like, this is your mom. And so, and also too, that she won't have those gender pressures of what we're supposed to be. Those little boxes we always like, and I want to say supposed because we always try to shove ourselves in those boxes, and we push that on kids sometimes too. It's like, you're supposed to be like this. Oh my gosh, hold that up. You got to see this. This is so cute. That is adorable. That is adorable. I can't wait.
They've gotten small to thicker.
They're just getting thicker, like the stepsister. These are really cute.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they turn out.
And this is a great way for kids too to see certain things too, because it's like, you know, what are these? These are pride cookies. What do they mean? It's like, oh, you know, it's just like, you know, everybody, you know, love everybody equal and the same. You know, we're all equal. And pride stands for more than just, you know, like the LGBTQ type of thing. So it's like equality. You know, that was the whole thing. It's like when we talk about like awareness, it's like, you know, the big struggle is like equality. Do you feel that sometimes? Oh, stove time. Hold on first.
$3.50 for 20 minutes.
$3.50 for 20 minutes. All right. Sounds like I know what I'm talking about. Is there any little tidbits that you would like to just express?
Not specifically. I think we covered a lot of like the good stuff about my life and like how far I've come, and I just, if anything I have to say, it's that trust the process.
Absolutely. I
Just
like that.
get involved, and it is a process, and it's always going to be a process. And even now I'm working hard to try to be better and make myself better and create a better life for myself and for the people around me, and that there's always going to be struggles no matter where you are in life. Like right here, I'm having struggles, and Arnold's probably having struggles, and I'm sure you're having struggles, and it's a part of life, but it gets easier and you find more people to help you cope with things. So
that's a wonderful thing to say, because you do find more people. You find more people to cope with it, because you feel so alone sometimes. If I feel alone, or and ostracized too, and you see like certain things that are happening in the world, or maybe even the community, it's just nice to know, it's like, I'm not alone. There's people that I can talk to. I can call or see or visit or go online and look. It's like, oh, okay, they're going through the same struggles that I've gone through, and realize that sometimes struggle is just there, but it's okay, because you do, and trust the process. I love that.
And just even if you need to find someone and bake some cookies with them, just find some people. Just find some people and share life with. Find good people.
Yes,
they're out there. They are out there. Look at the orange. They're cute.
They're very cute. Look at those cookies. I absolutely love it. And our pride cookies, and they look like Christmas ornaments on there, and they look like little seashells, and they're very beautiful, just like our host right there, Corrina. What a beautiful person. And she's tasting them without me.
I was just sniffing, just smelling them.
Just give me a good sniff.
They're hot though. You might not like them.
Oh, are they so? It's a little warm. Okay, I'm actually going to go for this.
All right.
It's a little hot, but
Oh no!
This is why we can't have anything nice. These are really good, I gotta say.
I'm not gonna eat that one. Yeah.
This one here, because I think it's kind of cool. It does look like a little seashell. And when you break it open, oh, here we go. See that?
There you go.
Oh, it's even steaming.
Yeah.
These cookies are fresh, and these are very good. So I think it's been a very, very successful endeavor here. And on this note, I really thank you all for being here, joining us with the cookie process. Well, I'll be putting also the whole recipe online, and that way you can follow it. And I really want to thank and appreciate my guest Corrina here. So it's just wonderful to open up her home and share her own personal stories and have a dialogue here for all of us to see and to learn from, and just also understand. So who is the LGBTQ community? Well, she's one, and so as one of many. And so I really look forward to talking to you all in the future. And thank you once again, Corrina.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Have a good day.